pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, folks, this is my first board meeting, and it's needless to say we're under some unusual circumstances, so I'm going to cover a few things that's free of charge. It won't cost you a dime. First question is why am I here? I'm here for one reason, and that's to help in financial people. I understand I've become very popular on Facebook and podcasts and a few other things. I don't have horns, and I'm not the devil. I told my principals I didn't come here carrying any grudges. I'm here for one thing, and that's the finances only. I'll let the good Lord take care of the grudge issue, because one of these days I'm going to stand before him and I'm not going to get to point my fingers at Brian. You know, I'm going to have to look at what I have to do with. So we can get that out of the way. I don't have time for the haters that we have that's going on. Y'all are very aware of it. I had a conversation with the principals, and I said, if you don't like me, that's okay, but if you fight me on these things that we have to do, then it's only going to cost you. It'll be because June the 30th, I'm going to leave here. And I'm going to have recommendations for the boards for the next year and whoever's sitting in the superintendent's seat. And that's what my goal is. Of course, I'll deal with any other issues that come up that's required by the superintendent. There's already been a question of whether I even have a license. Fortunately, they give you this thing when you retire called a lifetime license. And so I have a license, and I will until I'm no longer breathing. So hopefully that will be a while down the road. Let's look at where we're at financially. I came here in 2015. Mr. Eddie Johnson was the superintendent prior to me. He moved here to be with his family. His daughter was here. She's married to a farmer here and wanted to be close to grandkids. And he came in as happy as he could be. And one of the first calls he told me he got was from the State Department of Education saying, get your financial stuff in order, or we will be there to take over. So this is not the first time the school's been in this situation. All of my record can be taken in numbers, and I do everything in numbers, and you're going to deal with numbers when you're dealing with me on these things. I came here, finished the second room of the track. We had a building project going on, got out of a 1956 model elementary school. They hired somebody to do the facilities when I came here. They started the facilities program in 2005, and I started doing the facilities for my school district when I did that. And so I took that over here. So the district was at no charge for that. We done a HVAC at the high school. The state paid for 56% of that based on the applications that I presented. The elementary school, the district got over $6 million from the state. They got 56% of whatever the cost was going to be. The people in the community, they provided us a millage, and so you got a $12 million building for $6 million essentially. And so those numbers are there. I was administrator for 21 years, 19 of it as a superintendent. Never had a time that I didn't give a teacher either a raise or a bonus or both. And I've already explained to them this afternoon in the meeting that that's not going to occur, not in our current circumstances. I left, it was over $2 million in the bank. My understanding, and you can check the numbers, you had over $2 million in the bank a little over 2 years ago at the ending balance. Where we went wrong is mainly overstaffing. I had 676 kids when I came here. You're at 610 on the principal's figures tonight. You can calculate that as $8,000 a head, and you can say, okay, well, that's pretty good, except for one thing. We probably have as many, if not more, staff members now than I had when I took it in 2015. So we can't do away with contracts that have already been offered. Y'all have already offered contracts. There are people that are resigning and leaving, and those positions can get filled. It's harder for us than it is someplace like Cabot. They have 300 kids in the third grade. You can have 25 kids in the third grade. They divide 25 in it. They know how many teachers they have. We divide ours, and you've got a 2.1 teachers. You just hired yourself 3 teachers. So the efficiency. We're at 16-1 in elementary school, which is not great. It needs to be better. It's tough in a small school. At high school, we're 11-1 student-to-teacher ratio. That's just totally unacceptable. I've told Coach Morgan and Brittany that when a teacher leaves, we have to look at the certifications, if they can be absorbed inside the system. That's what we do. At elementary, if a teacher leaves, it's fairly easy to calculate and do that. for high school principals have to go back and look at their whole schedule and rearrange. So every time a teacher leaves, if we can absorb them, they have to rearrange the schedule. So that's just a whole lot of extra work on them there. So we have to cut that out. Now, let's talk a little bit about the money. Y'all look at this financial statement here, and we're not gonna look at it real hard tonight. I'll tell you what our bank balance is. But, you know, when you go to looking at the money, you've got federal funds, and it looks like you've got money in the bank that they're restricted. You got $124,000 right now in activity account, which is student fundraising. Well, you got that money, but you can't use that money to pay our bills with, because, you know, that it's funded, it's restricted. I talked to Angie today. I said, how many codes do we have in this thing? We got several divisions in the budget. I said, how many codes do we have? And she said, well, you know, it's 1,000 or more anyway. So those things are difficult to do. I ask questions. I don't memorize 1,000 codes. You know, I know the different categories of the budget and what you can spend and what you can't spend. So just because you have, like we have $1,055,000, I think I've got the exact number here, at the bank, in the account. Now, that does not account for checks that haven't cleared the bank yet, and bills that get paid that hadn't come out of that yet. So we're gonna be looking at different things. Now, as far as your, we're in initial intervention, that comes with, they notify you that you're in financial trouble, that you gotta get your house in order. And so that's where we're at. Dr. Saunders, Eric Saunders, was superintendent when I was. I know him pretty well. I called him and talked to him the other day. He's at the Department of Ed, and he's a real nice guy. Fine guy. He'll do everything he can to help you. But if his wife was sitting in this seat and he had to take the school over, he would do it. Okay? That's just how serious he is about his job. So we've got to get in financial order. Now, understand y'all need to have a little bit of patience and understanding for your board members. Those are here. I notice we don't have a lot here, but you need to have a little understanding, because they're going to have to make some hard decisions. You folks have two decisions you make. You got two options. One, you can ignore the fact and say, we're going to keep the staff we got and we're going to do that, and you're going to keep plummeting in the financial end of it, and the state will come here and take it over. You won't have to worry about it. Nobody wants that. I don't think there's anybody sitting here at this table that wants that. Y'all are going to have some hard decisions to make. We're going to make recommendations. It's going to affect some personnel. Some people aren't going to be happy. I've never had a job yet that I made everybody happy. I have trouble making everybody happy around my house, and it's just me and my wife. I'll apologize for my dress, but I don't have many clothes left. I took this job after it was offered to me, and then I think that was Thursday, and Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, I was buying new phones, my wife and I, and my neighbor called and lightning struck the house, done a whole lot of damage. You collect a lot of things in 47 years. It's just stuff that won't get replaced. And I didn't have any clothes but what I was wearing, so I had to run to Bass Pro and get me some Under Armour shirts and some jeans, and go from there. But I will try to look professional while I'm on this job. That's always one thing I did when I was here. I wore a tie. I don't know that I'll get a tie around my neck doing this, but we're going to keep on going. But you guys have got some hard decisions to make, and people need to understand you're going to have to do what's best for the school district. All right. The step one, the state's going to monitor, and that's what they're doing now. They would like to see us making progress toward it. Right now we have 4 positions, I think, from resignations that we're going to be able to absorb. So you're looking at somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000. We don't have exact pinpoint on that yet. That's making progress. Now, with that, we're looking at unfunded mandates. The legislators are in session. I understand there's one coming down, not this next year, but 2026, you're going to be putting audio in all of your locker rooms at school cost. And don't ask me why they're doing that, but somebody got this idea that they want to do it, and they're not going to fund it. Right now, it's on the floor dealing with the 4 and 5 day school week. And if you go back to a 5 day school week, guess what? You're going to spend more money. It's going to cost more money to run school for 5 days than it does 4. I mean, it's just common sense. So that might be an unfunded mandate that we have to deal with in the future for that. Second step, they'll simply come in, remove the board and the superintendent. Only if the superintendent had anything to do with if superintendent sitting here recommend, don't hire that coach, don't do this, and it's all in the record, it may show that he was actually trying to prevent what's going on. That doesn't happen very often. I would tell you to ask some schools what happens when state takes over. I'd have you ask Altimer, Elaine, I think Eudora, but you can't ask them. They no longer have a school district. Pine Bluff went into, the state took it over. Pulaski County, what are you gonna do with those people are monsters. I mean, the size of that school, they're just gonna send somebody in there, remove the board, and they answer directly to the state of Arkansas, the state board. And that's kind of where you're at with your second step. Then there's always that possibility of dissolving the district. Doubt seriously that would happen here, but if it did, it'd probably go 3 or 4 different ways. I mean, some would go Pine Bluff, Lone Oak, Carlisle, wherever they were in the district. We're not gonna let it get to that point. You know, I can tell you, I took the job in McCrory, Arkansas, and Ball Knob had just bellied up. The state took it over, and my board was kind of gun shy. So we had a lot of financial discussions. And then, Pleasant Plains, they got this bright idea to give all their teachers credit cards to take care of paying for their supplies. They got in physical distress. And so they still have a school, Ball Knob still has a school. When I came here, I was expecting to spend about an hour talking about finances with my board, and I was told, we hired you to do that. And I said, well, you better hope I'm honest. Well, Greenland, Arkansas, the state showed up and the board president said, we got money, what are you talking about? Well, the superintendent, who was planning on leaving, kept sticking the bills in his desk drawer. And they had over $1.2 million in bills that had not been paid. So not everybody you deal with is honest. And when you look for a superintendent, you need to make sure that you can vet that individual, because not everybody will do what they need to do. That is not going to be my issue. Okay. How we're going to correct this? We're going to simply start making cuts. I already had somebody tell me, you know, what's $5,000 in a $5 million budget? Well, $5,000 is $5,000. And if you do 10 of those, that's $50,000. And so we're going to be making cuts. We'll talk about uniforms after a while. I told them, if you're in rotation for new uniforms, don't buy new uniforms. You know, we're going to have to make some cuts because we may have some expenditures that are going to be mandated that we have no control over, that they're not going to fund. So we have $1,055,387.05, and that sounds really good. And last month y'all had $949,759, which at that time the checks had cleared that had come in. So we have to ask questions. Y'all need to ask questions. Y'all need to know exactly where we're at and what we're doing, and that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you, folks. You need to know where you're at and what's going on here. Jim said, I asked what was our balance in the bank. Well, you're asking the wrong question. What is our projected ending balance? I came here and I found out that we financed a bus at the bank on a 2-year note. I never financed a bus in my life. I leased a bus with option to buy once, but I've never done that. And then I'm told there is a possibility that we may have to borrow money to make payroll at the end of June. That's not very pleasant too. Hopefully we don't get to that point, but understand, because we don't pay employees before they start working. So if you don't start working until August, you're behind a month, so it's divided by 12 and you have a double payroll, about $300,000 each payroll. So you're going to be out $600,000 in June. We have to calculate that. You do have taxes coming in. Of course, taxes are always based on who's paid. You don't get to collect on delinquent. We'll have our funding coming in from the state, just like we always do. But when you go looking at what your projected ending balance is going to be, that's what gets scary. We have a few things here that we can do right now to kind of help. There's not a lot we can do because we owe people money on their contracts. You know, I actually have somebody that's resigned at the end of this month. That'll save a little bit of money, you know, for a couple of months' salary. You know, we're going to be looking at every way we can to cut money out of this year, but you're very limited on what you can do. Okay. We've talked about the restricted funding. So now, y'all know what to be asking. And we're gonna be projecting, and the projections will be different as we go along because we don't always have those, all those things that we can do. Now, with that said, we will start the meeting, Mr. President, and it says consent agenda. I've given you about as much information as I can give you on the finances. I haven't had very many days to go through them, and I'll assure you they will be gone through with fine-tooth comb. Does anybody have any questions? Because it's on the consent agenda, and I don't want to do that if somebody has questions concerning the finance. Now, I have an open door policy. Board members or public, if they need to come in and ask me a question, I'm going to sit down and talk to them, okay? They have a right to know, and y'all have a right to know. I don't have any secrets. I don't keep secrets, especially if it's illegal to keep secrets, because it's going to be illegal and above board, and that's the way it is. And sometimes folks don't like that, but I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Does anybody have any questions on the finances? Y'all will be getting updated quite more often on these things, but you know that's kind of where we're at. If not, Mr. President, you got a consent agenda?
Someone make a motion to approve it.
Make a motion.
Motion, got Kenny second. Second by Mr. Haynes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Principals reports. Ladies first,
Current elementary enrollment is at 346. We're down 2 students from last month. Those students came to us from Pine Bluff and have gone back to Pine Bluff. Kindergarten students are studying then and now in Wit and Wisdom. They went to the England Wagon Yard Museum to view forms of transportation from the past on the 4th. This is a great resource that the town of England and Mr. Pat Norsworthy has for our students, and I included a picture on the back of that. To be honest, I didn't even know that this existed in England until kindergarten said, hey, we want to go. And so just looking at their pictures, I think it's really neat. They saw a lot of things that you can read about a horse and wagon, but our kids have never seen that until they're standing in front of one. They really can't picture what a horse and wagon is. So it was really cool, and we appreciate the people who made that happen for us. On the 4th, our pre-K packet pickup began. We've had several packets be picked up, and those will just continue to roll in for pre-K registration. On the 8th, 6th grade took a field trip to 4-H that's located in Ferndale. Students canoed, they did archery, and rock wall climbed. On the 9th, teachers completed Atlas testing training. On the 10th, 3rd grade took their field trip to the Nature Center in Pine Bluff. They learned about the food chain and how the food chain affects the environment, and they got to pet a baby alligator, which they thought was really neat. On the 11th, 2nd grade toured the Keogh Fish Farm. They learned about the native fish that they mainly work with, which are the bluegill and a hybrid striped bass. And students were most fascinated that the average egg lay is 100,000 eggs per fish. I think it's neat that our kids are really visiting places that are near to us. You know, we pass by that all the time, but you don't really know what goes on there until you stop and look at it. The 15th through the 18th, K2 students are taking their Atlas summative test. On the 15th, which is today, we had a math wellness night this afternoon at 5. It was very well attended, and the kids had a good time. They played all kinds of math games. They had activities, and then they planted tomatoes, squash, and other vegetables as a health and wellness activity. And then the April and May newsletter is attached just because we had so many upcoming activities. So I just attached the newsletter for you guys for you to look and see for April and May. Any questions for the elementary? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, high school report. We currently have 264 students. Our East students went to the East Conference on March 17th through the 19th. We had several students come home with awards. Track, baseball, and softball are in full swing right now. On April the 4th, we celebrated our positive behavior on our campus with hot dogs and burgers. Brian and Mr. Turner cooked those for us. I believe we had around 200 students to receive that incentive. And I don't want to read every one of these to you guys, but we have several upcoming events. April and May are some of the busiest times of the year at EHS, and we have included all of these dates for your convenience. Any questions for the high school? Thank you.
I got a question. The CPR thing, is that a requirement, or is that just something that?
Yes, sir.
It
It is
is
a
required.
requirement. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have they worked out anything right now for community service hours, like we're assisting the kids, so they have to have so many to graduate now?
I don't think we just have anything specific to offer, but I know a lot of coaches and different teachers and stuff, they just try to offer things periodically for students to do.
Are they having trouble
In the
meeting that
community.
obligation?
Not really. We have a spreadsheet created,
Oh,
and
okay.
we just plug in hours as they give them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know we had something like through the summer, they help come over and pressure wash at the school, or
Well, we paid them
Clean
back in my day, but Mr. Woods brought that up to me the other day about the possible, because they had to have those hours if we could get some kids up here.
I mean, they have to have between their 9th and 12th grade year, right?
It's 75, I believe. Yeah.
As long as they're meeting that, they should have some
I don't
type of
know if
audit
they need it,
system
though.
to make sure.
It
that
just
they're
started,
fine.
the 9th graders, last year, the first
Yes, sir.
class too, so they prorated them out, so.
And I
But
know
you have a
that's-
record of all.
Yeah, Miss Cassie created a spreadsheet, and
She
it's
tracks
people.
that, Miss Kathy tracks?
Cassie does,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And every time somebody gets hours, she also sends out emails to
Oh, okay.
teachers saying, hey, anybody got any hours, I need to plug it in.
That's good.
Yeah, so we're keeping track of it.
The next thing is the DARE program. It costs us the district absolutely nothing. I'll have Brandon come up and talk in a few minutes. I had this program when I was superintendent at Piggott. It was a great program. You're talking about drugs for kids, and it's different now than what it was back then. That's been years ago. Like I say, the program costs you nothing. You build a relationship between students and the police. Some of these kids have absolutely nobody to go to and ask a question. And if they know them, they're more apt to go up and ask that question. And so, if you'd like to talk about it just a second, or if y'all have any questions for him, I'm sure he'll be glad to.
I can. I know you wanted me to, but like I said, the DARE program, the state got a grant for this program. It's not the same DARE program they had in the past. They've updated it. It's now includes stuff like fentanyl. And there's another drug I can't pronounce. They're including vapes. They reached out to us at the sheriff's office, wanted us to come and be a part of this training for it, which is July, I think. They cover all the expenses. They provide everything we need for the first year to get it started. It doesn't cost us anything. And it's something we need here. There's drugs here. We've had issues with, in that paper up there, you'll see on the very last page of it, what we just took off a kid. We took a THC vape off one of the kids.
I might have pulled that out.
Oh, did you? Well, last week, we took a vape off of them. We've got kids that are overdosing on drugs. I think it's gonna be a good program. Like I said, it's not gonna cost you anything, which is the best kind. So, I did the training. I'm doing the training this summer, so if you got any questions, I'll try to answer it. Because I haven't done it all yet. You are?
You need a motion if you want to approve this program.
Someone make a motion to approve the DARE program for Monmouth School. Mr. Adams, any second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Tyler, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Thank you, sir. To be honest with you, I think most of us have heard nothing but great things about you, so we really appreciate you coming out here and taking up that SRO job.
Okay, we have a school choice transfer application from a young man from Des Arc. He's going to Des Arc. He would like to continue and graduate with his class. He's a senior. He's asked for that transfer. And we hate to lose money, but that's not about it.
Where's he live?
Huh?
He live here, right here?
I guess he's moved into our district because he had to ask for school choice.
Lives in Court.
school choice to bid on it. Motion, Ms. Contini, second. Second. Second by Mr. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposite, nay.
The next thing,
Yeah, the sign-off sheet for this.
there should be a place to sign right there. It might be for me to sign. It just needs to be board approved.
I just didn't know, but usually we have that sign-off sheet always in the sign.
We'll change the form.
Did you have a sign-off sheet for all board members?
Where they have to sign is on legal transfers, that's a.
Oh,
Okay.
A different form.
School choice has changed to the point that you really can't do a whole lot about it anymore because of the laws. I have to approve the salary schedules for next year. Y'all have a copy of them in there.
Same one.
Not a whole lot you can do with them unless you want to add money to them, and I don't think that's going to be a question tonight.
So we'll make a motion to approve the salary schedule.
Make a motion.
Motion Mr. Tiny, second. Second. Mr. Allen, all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Okay. The Sun Life shares, we used to have a company here that did the life insurance, dental insurance, all those different things. And you've been getting a dividend, I think quarterly from anywhere from $300 to $400 a month. Y'all have $32,198.50 that is amount that they can pay to you. I would suggest that you close that out and take the check for $32,000 and something dollars to cover the financial situation. If y'all want to keep receiving quarterly dividends, then we'd approve it. Anybody need to see this? I mean, it's your money. Just whatever you want to do.
How much they pay for Martin?
It's not a
Quarter.
month, it's
I think you said-
quarterly. It's like, depending on share price, it's $300 to $400 a quarter.
Well, we can close and do a lump sum payment.
You can close it and do a lump sum
Right.
payment.
Is there any penalties with that, them pulling it and doing a lump sum payment?
You would have to read in there, I've not really glanced over it, but they're offering the buyer shares.
That might be something that, for some reason there is, you might need to come back to the board on it. You know, I understand that question, but I haven't been here long enough to read, I understand.
You want to table it to the next meeting?
Okay.
Make a motion to table it. Motion by Mr. Adams. Second. Second by Brother Dillon, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? 5-0.
Okay, the next thing y'all have some bids and options on the hippie building. The first one I saw that it was $9,000, but if you look at their bid to replace all of it, it was like $38,000. All of them are pretty well in the same category. I think McGee had one for some options of not replacing everything. Some you had plan one or option 1, option 2, option 3. One of them for $9,000, one of them $15,000. This is what I think we need to do in this aspect. I don't think we need, there's no one in there right now. I don't think we need to do that until after July the 1st, as far as repairing or replacing anything. You look and see what the best options are for that. I know the Lonoke County is wanting to put some police officers in there as a kind of a substation type situation. I have no problem with that. There again, we have to look at the funding. Can it be funded with ESL? Is there any grants through the county? I mean, there's things that we need to figure out before we do that. Is there who's gonna take care of the utilities, those type things? I mean, we really don't need to add another expense to the school district, but if we get grants and funding through ESL and different things that we can do, then, you know, we can do that. But I'm not ready to make a decision on that tonight. Y'all can look at it, and if you have a motion other than that, we can move on with it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before, and I did go over there, and Mr. Woods took me over there and looked at it. I do agree. I think that it's, if we do fix it, I think it's make it good for a few years because of them renting it. That's revenue coming back to us eventually, but not spending $38,000 to replace everything. Just enough to where 5 years down the road, maybe we're replacing everything, but that's once we have revenue coming in.
But you're not really renting it. I mean, they're.
I mean, they are legally, I mean, we're paying for SRO and then
Yeah.
it's essentially the same amount back to us, so.
I mean, there's different funding factors. We need to know exactly what it's gonna cost the district. I haven't been over there. I kinda helped with getting the office built over there, but that's a large building. If there was any way that we can shut off part of it so that they just have a smaller area, you know, that, I don't think you need the whole building. Do you need the whole building? I mean, I need to have a conversation with you and the sheriff
Just
and,
want to table till y'all get a chance to go over and look at it.
I really would like to. I mean, if y'all don't have a problem with that, I would really.
Want to make a motion?
Okay.
Motion, Mr. Adams, to table the heavy building HVAC repair quote, need a second?
Second.
Second by Scott Child, first say aye. Aye. Opposed, 5-0.
Cheer uniform, folks, there again, my recommendation is going to be to not fund anything that's necessary. I told the football coaches, if you need football uniforms, you need to make them last one more year, if that's the case, because I'm telling you, it's going to get tight for the next year's budget.
As far as these sports teams, their uniforms, things like that, is it legal for them to fundraise money to pay
Yes.
for their uniforms?
I actually think she has the junior high funds, and she asked me, hey, if we've done a fundraiser and paid you back, we can't do that, but if she has a fundraiser to raise for her senior high, then they can buy the uniforms.
Gotcha.
And I put a rotation of 5 years on it, and I think they've reduced it to 3, because you were buying football uniforms, basketball uniforms, you know, girls basketball, and all that stuff was hitting in 1 year, and so I put them on a rotation, which, you know, works great if you've got the finances to do that. But, you know, that's an area
Do you
that,
think junior high has got enough to fund theirs?
I,
Junior high already has enough in that account,
okay.
because we did not have a senior high squad last year. So all the money that was raised last year went into junior high account. We are doing a fundraiser right now with Little Caesars, junior high and senior high are, to get money into our senior high account. We worked the concession stand for the last track meet, and we're working the next 2 track meets as well to get that fund built up. So my question, if I can,
You can ask.
if we get that money from the track meets, can we still order senior high uniforms if that money is in that account?
If you have the money in that account.
Okay.
Then I would say yes. I mean, they still get the, but it depends on, I think y'all cut it to $2,500 that has to be approved by the board.
And see, our uniforms are less than that.
If they're less than that, I can approve it, because it's coming out of activity funds. And it's your money. I mean, it's your
And I
activity.
gotta ask you another question. I know before track meets, I don't even know they charged a gate. Are there for a while?
Yes, they are.
They are charging gate now? Okay, I know before, I come over here, they wouldn't even charge a gate at the track meets.
Are they less than $2,500?
Both sets, yes. And that was a quote for
I will say
10.
one thing. Basketball uniforms, you can have a little tight uniform or a little loose one. Football, same way. Cheerleading, no, they gotta fit.
I have a sample of what the uniforms
I agree.
will be if y'all would like to see them. They've sent us a prototype of what the uniforms would be.
I think they have that in there.
Have you got enough girls in senior high to?
We have 9 on senior high and 9 on junior high.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
good.
So we will actually have a senior high squad this year.
Can we vote to approve it as long as they got the money in the bank?
Yeah, as long as the money's being reserved, I don't see a problem with it.
Right. I mean, if it's under the 2,500,
It is.
they don't have voting.
And I got a
Just
quote
no
for-
vote.
Yeah, then I guess we don't even need to vote on it.
So unless it's over 2,500. You got a deal in your packet concerning the Renaissance Learning quote. I think that was federal funds, if I wasn't mistaken. Should be,
You make a motion through that one?
yeah. I would
I
recommend.
might make a recommendation.
What is this? Sorry,
There's a sheet on the back of it that tells you what the items are. Dealing with federal funding, Title I, STAR assessments provide data on our students' reading and math level strengths and areas of improvement. It's federal funding. We are required to spend our federal funding, or they're gonna take it back from us. You know,
Use it or lose it type thing?
Yeah, you have to use it or you get to lose
How much is it?
7,305.60.
305.
Is there a motion, Scott?
Yeah, I make a motion.
Motion by Scott, you need a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Child, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
Okay, you should have one there for Attergy invoice payment.
That's for the website, right?
Right. I mean, it's kind of
Is it going pretty good so far?
What's that?
aptitude.
Yeah.
We're super happy with
Super
Aptitude.
happy.
It's very easy to use, and we've got a lot of users in our district. It's easy for them to post. The alerts are sent out. We haven't had any trouble with it at
Is
all.
it, do you guys get to change things on there for free, or does it cost us every time?
We can change anything we want to for free, and then they do our call-out system that's linked up with eSchool, so when parents update phone numbers in eSchool, they get updated in there, and then if they have people who aren't in eSchool want alerts, they just let us know, and I have a manual list like that you guys are on so that you get the alerts.
Awesome.
But everything, we can do anything we want to on there, and it's all included in the price, so.
Okay, good deal. I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Tyler to approve the Apogee.
Yeah, say the amount.
$9,082.63.
Motion. Second by Scott T. All in favor, say aye. 5-0.
Next on your agenda is approve the train invoice payment. That just repairs on units here at the school. Evidently, they had one or two go down.
Are they not under warranty or something? How long has it been?
They're supposed to be under warranty for 5 years. I called the architect because we've had leaks in the elementary and we're having a flooring issue with some discoloration, and they're supposed to be sealed.
Yeah.
So I called him and contacted him on that. He was gonna call John, the construction manager here, and have him come down and talk with me and look at them. The teacher shouldn't set a bag out on a seal floor and something leak out of it after they've had a party or whatever, and it stained a sealed concrete floor. So something's going on. I kind of want to know what it was. Mr. Woods, bless his heart, has been up on top of the roof trying to patch the roof, and that roof's under warranty for 20 years.
Why are we doing that?
Well, that's a good question. I'm asking that, and that's what I asked that architect. So we're going to have
I mean, why are we patching it instead of calling
Well, that's a good question. That's before my time, Jim. The roof warranty. The air should be. I mean, that was a question I had, but I mean, I think after you've got a 1-year factory warranty on it and then 5 years on your
Part, yeah,
compressor.
yeah.
And so if it's not compressor, you're having to pay for the parts.
If there's anything that comes up about the concrete thing, I haven't seen it myself. I own a decorative concrete business. Those floors are not sealed, they're polished. They do need to be sealed.
They do need to be sealed.
Yeah,
I think
they're
they
not
had a
sealed,
bid
they're
of
polished.
22,000, Miss Tammy, that we talked about. They definitely need to be sealed.
Yeah.
Well, in the contract, when we first had it built, was it in the contract?
I bet if you look at that contract, it'll say polished if what you're saying is.
Yeah, those are polished, they're not sealed off, so they
These
still
are sealed
absorb.
over here, I know the high school.
That's a
These are
question
glow.
that I will be asking him on those floors. Because if it was supposed to be sealed, and he may be under the impression it is sealed, he's the one that drew all this stuff up. And when I asked him that question about the seal, he didn't act like it wasn't supposed to be sealed. So there
Maybe something there says polished instead of sealed.
you have to understand something. When they went in that building over there and built that upstairs, the concrete people messed up and didn't put enough rebar in it, and the construction company had to eat $60,000. They had to go in there and tear that whole flooring upstairs back off that they had poured and re-pour it. So things happen. If it's supposed to be sealed and it did get sealed, that's a question that we're gonna have to get answered. So.
You need a motion to approve the $2,678.30.
Yes.
I'm just wondering why,
Why are we paying for it?
Yeah.
That was from a gas leak that we had, and I'm not a mechanical person, so I cannot tell you what the words were.
The fifth
But
grade
some
class.
kind of compressor, something was rusted out, and the guy said that it just the whatever part was had to be replaced. Mr. Woods is more familiar with what it was.
This is on the
but
elementary?
It was,
Well, we got new units. I mean, all old units at the high school were removed, and all new units, heat and air went in. And of course, the elementary is brand new. So, if there's a compressor and it's within the 5 years, which it should be, yeah, that falls on warranty. I need to get Mr. Woods on that and find out about that. So,
So we don't want to pay.
I wouldn't pay this because we could just send the bill to them if it's under warranty, right?
What they're fixing on it?
It says that, they're saying that they fixed that valve. And that shows igniter, OEM hot, trip charge, fuel surcharge,
How does it rust out though? That's what I'm, well, actually, usually when you do the warranty, the labor's covered, it's the parts you gotta buy.
It is for 1 year.
Oh,
The labor's only covered for 1 year.
oh.
The only thing that's covered for 5 would be a compressor. If it's not a compressor, then bill has to be paid.
Equipment serviced.
Table it or pay it?
Shut off gas. Broken heating probe monitored unit.
It's a gas leak.
I'm not seeing anything there that indicates that it would be a compressor.
Yeah. So we'll make a motion, 267830.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Adams, second. Second by Mr. Jones, all in favor say aye. Opposed? 5-0.
Okay, next thing is approved lawn care. Y'all should have had a bid in by May the 1st, and the bids haven't been done for the lawn care service for the next year. I understand there was some question about the prison taking care of the lawn. Number one, you're bringing in people around students that may be of questionable character, I guess you might say.
Who brought it to prison? I never heard that.
That's what I heard.
It was
They
the
were supposed to
sheriff's
tear down the elementary building for us too, and it never happened, and I think y'all paid $200,000 or $300,000 to have it done. Now, with that said, Dylan Martin has agreed at the same price that he's doing it now on his rate until we can get the bids done in the May board meeting. So y'all need to approve him continuing to do that until we get bids in May.
So I'll make a motion. Motion, Mr. Adams, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Tyler, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
Okay, we have someone that's interested in the old elementary property. I have not discussed it with them, I just got here. And the city is interested in it if you will donate it to them. And we have somebody interested in buying it. What kind of price we can get out of it, I'd say, if you donated it to the city, I'd say there's a way to work it around to where you could donate it. To a private individual, they would have to pay fair market price of whatever it was appraised at. So, what would be your poison? Do you want me to look into the donation? You want me to look into the money?
Honestly, can we look at the money of who, and I mean, is there a way to find out who,
Oh, I
and
know
what
who it is.
purpose?
Yeah,
So.
this is Brandon Thompson, BJ Thompson.
DJ Thompson? I mean, and I
I
imagine
mean,
there's
if he
something to
wants,
do with
if
it.
he wants to buy it and put a park in or whatever, that'll be up to the city what he can do with it, but he has shown some interest in purchasing the property. You know, and I'm not gonna say we're gonna charge you $1 million for it because you make a lot of money, but whatever fair market value would be, it'd benefit the school district. You wouldn't have to have it mowed, you could take that out of your mowing contract. You know,
And that
there's-
money, if we sell that, that money can be used back into our operational
Right.
funds, correct?
right back into operation.
Can we wait until we see what it's worth before we make up our mind which way to go?
Somebody's gotta pay for the appraisal.
Somebody gotta pay for
We
the
gotta
appraisal.
pay for appraisal.
About $4,000 or
We gotta
$500.
approve it.
Let me see if I can get in touch with BJ and talk to him and see how serious he is about it and kind of what his thoughts are on it, and then we can come back and if you don't have it appraised, you know, he just have to understand whatever fair market value is gonna be.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we could, I mean, we could go ahead and decide if we wanna get it appraised anyway. We probably need to make that decision tonight.
Well, even if we did donate to the city for a tax write-off,
We
whatever
need
the
to get it
purpose
appraised
is.
anyway,
It
because
needs to be either way,
we need to
but-
know that amount to write off.
Yeah.
So it's got to be appraised anyway,
we don't get tax write-offs.
or whatever.
We get taxes.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. I don't know
mean,
how you would call
when you-
that
When
donating.
you think, as an
I think we
individual,
should sell
you
it
think
anyway.
tax write-off.
I agree.
You'll make a motion to appraise it, appraise?
I'll make a motion to appraise it.
Motion by Sonny, second.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Tyler, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? 5-0.
Do you have any
Actually,
idea of what the city wants with it?
Oh, so, before we do this, first of all, before we can add it, we gotta make a motion to suspend the rule. To add this to the agenda.
It was not on the agenda.
When?
I know,
Mr. Adams moves to suspend the rule, need a second.
I did, so.
Second by Mr. Jones, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Now you can talk, now we can vote on that,
We want
on the appraisal.
to make a motion to get appraisal on the property.
Motion by Scott, need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Tyler, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Personnel?
Nope. These are things that should have been in there. But anyway, the Blue Path, the one on the solar, I've got their number over there to call. Getting ready for board meeting, I haven't done that. This particular invoice is for $10,360.86, and it has to be approved by the board. Now, this is my understanding from what I read in the contract. The contract, you have 5 years that you pay quarterly payments to them, and then the property becomes to you. You're supposed to be getting anywhere from 11 to 15 cents kilowatt hour fed back. It depends on how much electricity is generated out of there. That's supposed to be coming back in. I would like to see a record of how much we've saved, and like I say, when the property becomes yours. So I've got the contract over there, but it's kind of vague on, and it says there's no guarantees from, what was it, Integrity and Entergy, you know, they make absolutely no guarantees on any of this stuff. So we're taking what we can get, but we've had a contract and we're actually obligated to pay this, and this is a quarterly payment. This one's 10,000, you said they have been as high as 17,000.
As high as 20.
And I don't know if that
So
has
this
to
one
do
was low.
with it's being reduced over a period of time, exactly how that works. I need to talk to them about it, but we do need to approve this today.
Make a motion to approve whatever
Is it on the agenda?
It's not on the agenda as well.
No, these are just expenditures. I guess you could put them up, they weren't put up with the other expenditures. These are just expenditures you're approving over $2,500.
Oh, okay.
How many we got?
Just these right here.
We make a motion to suspend the rule on the here the expenditure.
Yeah. Make a motion,
Motion by Scott
in
Cheek,
the rule.
second.
Also,
Second by Dylan Tyler, favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Need to do the one on Blue Path, $10,360.86.
Someone make a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Scott Cheek, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bobby Jones, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
You're gonna have to give me the prints getting smaller. Okay, this one is federal funding, and it's annual all product Renaissance platform, star assessment, accelerated reader. There again, it's federal funds, and it is in the amount of $4,989.90.
so that's separate from what we just voted on?
Yes, these are all gonna be individual, I mean, like I say, they're spending federal funds, it has to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I just
Okay.
make sure I'm gonna double do it.
Not the electrical stuff is not, that is federal though.
This is federal, yes.
So we make a motion.
Make a motion to
Motion,
approve.
Mr. Tiny, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
This is federal funding, and it is for Lexicor 5 reading student subscription renewal, which you already have, and it's for $6,670, and that is federal funding.
Make a motion.
Make a motion.
Mr. Scott Cheek, second.
Second.
Second by Bobby Jones, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is district funds, but it's an agricultural grant, modernization grant that they received in the amount of $29,580. They have a bill here of $6,641.31.
So the grant's paying for this?
The grant's paying for this.
Someone make a motion?
Make a motion to
Motion
approve.
by Mr. Tiny, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
All right, I have a bill here that is coming out of federal funds. It is dealing with a convention or conference that the athletics went on, and it is an amount of $3,483.18. They've already been, just needs to be
What was that?
That was the East Conference.
East Conference,
Oh,
hotel
so-
stay.
Yeah. Someone make a motion?
Says approved by Mark Price on 3/11/25, but his signature is not on it, so.
Someone make a motion?
Second motion.
Motion by Scott Cheek, second. Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Now, Mr. President, we have personnel.
Go to executive session for personnel reasons.
Okay,
Back to session.
resignations. We'll get them, I've got them up here. Glasses back on. Resignation of Ashton Siebert.
Make a motion to accept
Motion by Mr. Tiny, second. Second by Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Resignation of it, is it Deborah Mahonis? How's it? Mahone? Deborah Mahone?
We'll make a motion.
Make a motion to
Motion by
accept.
Mr. Ty, need a second.
Second.
Second by Scott G, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Brenda Reed, is it? That's right, ain't it? Okay, Brenda Reed. Need
We'll make a motion.
So moved.
By Mr. Adams, I like that.
Second.
Second by Scott G, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against 5-0.
Recommend, or resignation of Demetria Steps effective April 28, 2025.
We'll make a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Jones, all, need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Reduce Miss Patricia Alberson's contract from 180 days to 160 days, and Julia Powell's from 144 to 160 days per request of employee.
We'll make a motion.
Make a motion to accept.
Mr. Tiny, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Okay, we're opening up application for head football coach. We'll be accepting resignations to a certain date, interviewing, and have recommendations by the next school board meeting or a call board meeting, whichever comes first. Need a motion to move Coach Chadden to boys assistant from girls assistant in basketball.
We'll make a motion.
Make a motion to
Motion by
move.
Mr. Tyler, need a second.
Second.
Second by Scott G, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Okay, girls assistant, we will be looking for somebody who will take the place of Coach Chadden there for an assistant girls basketball coach. All right, Mr. Cheek, I believe you're on.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adjust Mr. Barry Scott's daily rate retroactive to April 8th, 2025 to June 30th of 2025 for a daily rate of 240 days at $130,000 prorated out at a daily rate.
To what day?
Starting
30th.
April 8th
June
through
30th.
June 30th.
I'm gonna make a motion by Scott G, need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jones, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
I have another motion. First motion I'd like to make a motion to rescind the previous board action of January the 23rd of 2025 that extended Mark Price's contract for 2025 through 2026 school year.
Motion by Scott G, need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Uh,
Opposed, 5-0.
Also, I have a second motion as of April 15th, 2025. I'd like to make a motion to rescind the action employment of Mark Price as England School District Superintendent based on his failure to abide by School District Policy 3.5 Licensed Personnel Contract Return.
Motion by Scott G, need a second. Second by Mr. Ty, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0. Anything other there, Mr. Sue?
I don't have anything, sir.
We'll make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion Mr. Ty, need a second. Second by Mr. Adams, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0.
Appreciate you.